guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a video that I filmed before on my channel. It's a fun one. It's just a way to chat about some eyeshadow palettes that I didn't buy. So if you're curious about seeing the palettes I was this close to buying, then just keep watching. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is KARENHARRIS. I like to post tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. I try to post 3 to 4 times a week. So if you like new makeup, especially eyeshadow palettes, this is the place for you. Highly recommend subscribing, turning on that bell so you're notified every time I post. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. You know, I just realized I don't have a lip color on. And I'm gonna live my best goth life. This is the black liquid lipstick from the Unearthly Halloween box. I hadn't tried this out yet, so I figured this is how I was feeling. I did film this makeup look. It's already live on my channel. I'll link it down below for you guys if you want to see what else is on my face today. But without further blabbering, let's go ahead and talk about some eyeshadow palettes that I didn't buy. Okay, the first one is the Martine Cosmetics Mission XXX palette. I think it's what it's called. Let me go ahead and scooch over to the side here so I can put a picture up for you guys. But I have the most embarrassing story about Martine Cosmetics. I have 2, maybe 3 palettes from them that I bought with my own money that I've never used. And their packaging gets me every time. Also, I always watch my friend Heather's reviews on their palettes because they're amazing and she makes them look so beautiful. And then every time I get really tempted and I buy them. So the Mission XXX palette was on Beauty Bay and I was like humming and I was high and I didn't buy it and it sold out. So then I was like, okay, it's fine. Then I was like, okay, the next time it comes to Beauty Bay, I'm gonna buy it. And so it came on Beauty Bay, and then they announced that their Christmas palette was launching. So I was like, let me just wait until the Christmas palette comes to Beauty Bay, because then I can buy the Christmas palette and the Mission XXX palette together, get them together, not pay for shipping twice, all of the things. And of course, the day the Christmas palette launched, the XXX palette was sold out. So I have the holiday palette, but I don't have the XXX palette, and it's sold out now on Beauty Bay. And so I've been like checking every once in a while to see if it's back in stock. It feels a little ridiculous to buy a 4th palette from them, having never tried the palettes that I already have from them. But I keep telling myself that I will just film like a 4 palettes, 4 looks, like extravaganza review at the start of 2023. So we'll see. I mean, I'm hopeful that I'll stick to my plans. It's kind of silly. I feel like that's like my big confession in this video, and it's a little bit cringe. I mean, I know you guys saw the 2 palettes I own from them in my eyeshadow palette collection video that I posted a few weeks ago. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend. It's like over an hour long, and I just show you all of my eyeshadow palettes. But yeah, I feel really bad about the fact that I have a 3rd palette. Now I just want to have them all. So now I just want the Mission XXX palette. So yeah, I almost bought it, but then it sold out, so I couldn't buy it. Okay, so a lot of you are probably familiar with the Cosmic Brushes Serenity palette. It's like one of the most beautiful palettes that launched this year, and I do have an affiliate code with them. I mean, look at the palette. It's just so beautiful. But they actually have a palette that they launched before this one called it's called the Royal Rose palette, and it's like a almost like rainbowy palette that's like pink heavy, and it's super pretty, but I don't know when it came out, and so I'm like, I should just buy that one because I don't know, I want to like have both of them because it's from a brand that makes a palette that I really like. I love their formula. So now I want to know if the old palette has that same great quality as their new Serenity palette does. So I've been thinking about buying it, but I keep talking myself out of it because I really don't need to buy palettes that are not as new because it's hard to get views. I typically don't do the best on YouTube, so I was gonna buy the Serenity palette and then the brand actually sent it to me, so I didn't end up placing an order on their website. But if you guys have that palette, can you let me know in the comments if I'm missing out, or are they two different formulas? Am I okay passing on it? I don't know. I feel like I want it, but I think she said on her Instagram that once this palette was gone, it was going to be gone. So I don't know. I feel like maybe this is one that I'm just going to have to not pick up, and I haven't so far, but it's definitely been tempting me. The next one is kind of embarrassing, but now I kind of want it. It's the Carnival 5 palette that Be Perfect did with Stacey Marie. So I have 2 or 3 of the Carnival palettes, and I just had a feeling it was going to be another rainbow palette. But Carnival 5 also has like a huge like cool tone gray black section, which realistically I don't even love cool tones much, so I don't know why I would want that palette, but I did want it. I just decided not to get it because I just have so many palettes that I haven't used yet that I've purchased. So one of my big goals going into 2023 is to try and get through and cut down that unused palette section that I've like bought, paid for, and I haven't been able to feature on my channel yet. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's so pricey and it would be such a waste to buy it and not even use it. And the other thing is, again, this palette is now old in YouTube land because it's been out for a while. So if I was to get it and make a video about it, it would get so few views that it wouldn't even make sense. So yeah, it's one that got away. I kind of still want it. I keep thinking like maybe it'll come to Beauty Bay. It hasn't yet, so I'm thinking maybe it's a Be Perfect website exclusive, which is totally fine. I don't need it, but I definitely almost bought it. Okay, so this one I put in my basket and checked out almost so many times. It's the coffee palette that Juvia's Place recently launched. So I actually saw it like pop up on Instagram and I was like, what is this? And nobody had really posted about it, and I was kind of confused because I was like, it kind of looked like the other neutral palette that they launched, I think sometime in the summer or spring. And so I've just been like waiting for Juvia's to do something really fun and colorful. And I know they did the Culture palette, but again, I just feel like I miss old Juvia's Place. But that's a conversation for another day. Anyway, I saw the coffee palette. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like this is going to be a hit. And I almost bought it a few times. And then I was like, it's a big neutral palette. I mean, it's not a big neutral palette, but it's pretty big. It's got more than like 9 shades. And I just don't gravitate towards neutral palettes as much as I do colorful palettes. So I thought to myself, if I was buying it, I'd really be buying it for a review. And of course, like I do review a lot of makeup on my channel, so it's not like it would be a bad thing. And I really like Juvia's Place. They're a really nice indie brand. I will say I've been less interested in them in the last few months and years actually, compared to when I first got on YouTube. I mean, they were like one of my favorite indie brands. So yeah, I don't know. I still feel like I should have bought it when it was new and made a video, but it's okay. I'm glad I didn't spend the money. I did buy their Fula palette though. I was maybe gonna film a quick video with it, but it's a $10 palette and I ended up posting a first impressions as a reel. So if you guys haven't seen it and you've been wondering about that palette, I would definitely direct you towards my Instagram account. Okay, another palette I almost bought was the new Laura Lee Los Angeles Whimsical Nudes palette. I have 2 really good friends here on YouTube, Angie and Heather, and I think Heather ended up buying the Whimsical Nudes palette, but I know they've both tried the brand and they really seem to like the stuff they've tried. So I'm like, oh no, I want to try them. I want to know what they're like and stuff like that. So I was really excited when I saw she was launching something. I mean, this palette is a lot more neutral, again, than what I typically am attracted to when it comes to eyeshadow palettes. But again, I would have done it just for like the experience and being able to tell you guys about her brand. But in the end, I mean, it launched, I think, around Black Friday or like a week before Black Friday or something like that. And it was just such a launch heavy time for me that I just felt like it was going to be another palette that I wasn't going to get to. So I did go ahead and skip on it. So yeah, I hope in 2023 I'll finally get to try her brand because I really enjoy watching Laura Lee's content. I don't watch all of it, but I really enjoy Full Coverage, which is the podcast she does with Manny. So yeah, maybe at some point I'll also get to try her makeup line. Okay, the next palette I almost bought is the Colourpop Star Wars C3PO palette. This one, I feel like I saw so many of my friends that have Colourpop PR talk about how good this palette was, how it was like one of the best neutral palettes that they've done in a while, and how it wasn't just like a typical neutral palette. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like there was a Colourpop sale and Black Friday, and I was like, let me just buy it, let me just buy it, let me just buy it. There's a few other things I wanted, let me just buy it. And I can't tell you how many times I like played with the Colourpop website and added things to my cart and closed out the browser. I did it so many times, and I decided to pass on it because I was like, as much as I want this, again, this is an old palette. I won't get any views if I make a video on this, and I don't really need this for my collection. I mean, there was a time where I thought maybe I'll collect all the Colourpop and Star Wars palettes, but after they did the Grogu palette, I don't know, that one just wasn't my color story. I do like the bigger one, the 12 pan palette they did, or was it 12 pans? I can't remember, but the other Star Wars palette, maybe it was a 16 pan, whichever one, the one that has like the classic Star Wars movie poster almost on it. That one's really nice, but a lot of the 9 pans I've just not been that into. So I decided to pass on it, but I definitely almost bought it. Okay, the next palette that I almost bought is the Dior Backstage Khaki Neutrals palette. If there was ever gonna be a luxury kind of brand eyeshadow palette I would buy, it probably would be that one, because I'm always so disappointed in like the Tom Ford quads, and I've definitely purchased Tom Ford in the past and I've just not been impressed. This Khaki Neutrals palette though, like Samantha loves it, Morgan Turner has done looks with it and looks amazing. So it's definitely one where if I were to pick something that's very much me from a luxury brand, that would be a palette that I'd consider. And during the Sephora sale, I definitely had it in my loves list. I was contemplating it, and I was like, Karen, you know if you buy this, you'll maybe use it once. Maybe you'll show it in a haul video, and that would be that. So I decided to go ahead and pass on it. And honestly, I don't have any regrets, but it does look like a really pretty palette, don't you guys think? Okay, the next two palettes I almost bought, I feel like almost symbolize my like baby steps towards like makeup rehab and being like a little less impulsive when it comes to my makeup buying. It's always something I'm working on, and I've been trying really hard this year to focus on the things I have and not overconsume. I mean, it's still really hard because I am a makeup lover, a total magpie at heart. Like, if I see something shiny and colorful that catches my attention, you know I'm gonna get it. But I did show some restraint when Melt launched their like Bad Zodiac collection. I feel like I shouldn't give myself too much credit though, because I don't really like the palettes I bought either. So maybe I was just saving myself some money, but I feel like Melt is one of those brands where I look forward to their holiday collections every year, and typically I'm going to try and buy as much of it as I can. But when I saw the entire collection, I was like, oh my gosh, I definitely don't need fire. Definitely don't need water. So yeah, I mean, the reviewer in me, the collector in me was like, let me get all 4, because who's gonna watch a video on just 2 of the 4 palettes? But I decided to stick to my guns, and I only bought the green one and the purple one. Kind of regret buying those 2, like I wish I completely skipped on it. But I'm at least proud to say that I passed on those 2. I passed on Water and Fire, so those are 2 palettes that I almost bought, but then I didn't. Okay, the next palette that I almost bought is the Huda Love Fest Obsessions eyeshadow palette. So I kind of tend to collect Huda eyeshadow palettes, but these Obsession palettes, I swear, they are the most inconsistent, unreliable palettes. And there was something so cute about this berry palette, and I was like, let me get it. I can film a quick review. Everyone's gonna love it. And then I was like, okay, like, no, you bought the last Obsession palettes, the color block ones, and you didn't like those, so why are you trying to put more money into something that there's like a 50-50 chance that you might like or hate? So I did go ahead and pass on it, even though I almost did buy it. Okay, this one still haunts me. So it's the Bella Beaute Bar Strange and Unusual palette. So I think my friend Heather, I can't remember if she bought this one or she got it in PR, but I know it's like one of her favorite palettes of 2022, and I wanted to buy it. I missed the launch because I was out getting dinner with my family, and then it went into pre-order, and the pre-order was like a couple of weeks, and then I was like, no, nobody's gonna watch my video because everybody's gonna get their video up by then, and nobody's gonna watch my video. And it's kind of a pricier palette. I mean, it is an indie brand, and you can use a code, I think. So I shouldn't complain. I'm not complaining about the price, you guys, but I'm just saying, like, if I'm gonna spend like $60 on a palette, like that's a big like chunk of my monthly budget when it comes to makeup. So I don't know. I missed the boat on that palette, and I think it's just been on reoccurring pre-order for months now because I think it came out around Halloween. And I will forever be haunted by not picking up that palette. And yeah, I don't know if I'll ever buy it. Like, if I ever get a chance to, if it's in stock, like, I would love to buy it. But every time I've checked, it's been a pre-order, and I just haven't gone for it. So if you guys have that palette, and if you love it as much as Heather does, let me know in the comments, because maybe you guys will convince me. I mean, Heather's already convinced me, but I want to know. I want to know if you guys think that I'm missing out by not having that palette. Okay, and then the last thing I almost bought, this one I literally had in my cart, and I was gonna go ahead and check out, and I was like, no, that's too expensive. Like, I don't need to do that right now. It's the Menagerie Claws and Paws palettes. These palettes are so cute. And you guys know I really like Menagerie. They have a really beautiful eyeshadow formula. They're an indie brand. They make a lot of like animal themed, like really cute, like cartoon packaging makeup. It's so cute. And they don't launch a lot of stuff. They usually have like a few launches every year, and I don't even remember. Have they launched anything this year? I cannot remember. So yeah, I was like really excited for these palettes. There's 2 of them. One's more like green heavy. One's more like a pinky kind of rainbow-esque palette, and I was like, I need to get those. And so I think they launched like later on Black Friday, or maybe it was Thanksgiving Day or something like that, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be asleep when they launch, and they'll probably be sold out by the time I wake up, because that's typically how Menagerie's like new releases go. But I don't know, I think I woke up in the middle of the night, they were still in stock, and I put them both in my cart, and I was like, I don't have time. I don't have time to review this, so why am I doing this to myself? Why am I buying this makeup that I don't have time for? They look so cute though, and every once in a while I'm like, I should go buy them, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because I don't have time, and they're a bit pricey, and I just don't need to add more things. I really don't need to add more things, you guys. I have an embarrassing bucket of just eyeshadow palettes, I think mostly from this year, that I still need to use, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna try and stay strong, because there's still makeup I'm waiting for, like the Glamlite Strawberry Shortcake palette. Still waiting for that. I just bought this palette, the Aurora Struck palette from Colourpop. I'm gonna buy the Pat McGrath 5-pan Star Wars palettes when they come out this week, so I don't need to buy more things. And if I can like pass on something and stay strong, I need to like listen to that feeling. So that's the last palette I almost bought. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I always love talking about eyeshadow palettes with you guys, so let me know. Don't leave me hanging. Let me know in the comments, what eyeshadow palette did you almost buy but then you didn't? You guys know I love chatting to you, so I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye, guys!